Treat everything as core work. That's a good rule of thumb. Right. So, all right, so have your mat ready. Grab, just in case you need to use them, you're going to grab blocks if you've got them, if you need them, any pads, cushions, bits of equipment. But obviously, you don't have to have pads, cushions, and bits of equipment. So what I normally keep to hand, a couple of Pilates blocks, which are the spongier type. I have started keeping solid blocks nearby because a lot of people like them, although I rarely use them myself, but they're useful. A cushion to sit on, a band, just in case I need it. And we're going to be doing a little bit of sideline work today. And for me, because my waist is so far off the floor, when I lie on my side, I usually keep a little bit of padding for that. So they don't need to be nearby, just somewhere out of the way. As usual, rule of thumb, as we work through Pilates, you want to keep your Pilates setup. If you can't remember that, I will keep reminding you, but also the setup we'll work through to start with, and we will use it for the seated warm-up. I'll also put the link to the official setup method in the description below, and you can go and practice that. If you really struggle with the setup, I really recommend just going back and practicing that. Every time you come to train, practice it. Just practice it all the time. Today's session, we're doing a seated start. So grab something to sit on so that your spine stays tall. Sit up. You don't have to be in cross legs, but if you can, cross legs is nice. Shoulders are drawing back and down. Crown of the head is lifting up towards the ceiling. Shoulders stay relaxed. Take a few breaths, breathing in. And then as you exhale, draw in the whole of your waist from the sort of mid-rib base of your chest all the way to the tops of your hips. Gently draw that in about 30%. So you can feel the deep hug internally, but it may not affect the actual shape of your waist. Hold that. As you breathe in, don't let your belly expand. Breathe into your ribs. And then as you exhale, draw up just a tiny bit through your pelvic floor so you feel the low belly hug. Pelvic floor slightly lifted. And we're going to hold that as we start moving through some neck exercises. So there's an opportunity to practice holding your Pilates setup. A light hug through your middle, relaxed shoulders, breathing into your ribs, pelvic floor just slightly lifted. Start to turn your head from right to left. Don't try and force the movement. Just to wherever your neck says, yeah, that's as far as I can go. Keep it nice and fluid. Don't forget to breathe. And just keep those shoulders relaxed, back and down. Crown of the head lengthened up towards the ceiling. Waist cinched. Pelvic floor lifted. And as we move through these neck mobilization exercises, I'm going to keep repeating that setup so that you can keep working on it. We're going to change this neck movement. So next time your chin is over to the right, you're going to draw a nice big smile down and over to the left, and then down from left to right. Keep your shoulders relaxed and back. They shouldn't be moving. You adjust the neck movement to what the shoulders will let you do. Check that your spine is still nice and tall and neutral, lengthened and relaxed. So there's no compression in your spine. It's just nice and tall. If you feel really hunched right now, you may need something taller to sit on, or you might want to sit on a chair. Sitting on the floor is a bad idea for Pilates. You're better off sitting on a block, on a pile of cushions, on a chair. Spine is tall, waist is drawn in just a little bit, like you've got a big elastic belt on, like a nurse. Or a corset. Pelvic floor is slightly lifted. You should be starting to feel a little warm around your center and your core now. Next time your chin is over to the right, we're going up and over in a rainbow. Up and over to the left. Shoulders remain relaxed. Notice what your neck allows you to do. Waist is drawn in, just ever so slightly hugged. Spine is neutral. Pelvic floor is slightly lifted, so you can feel your lower abdomen. You know, the pelvic floor is a sling of muscles that scoops, like almost like a little tornado shape. It scoops upwards and back as well. So and it's connected to your lower abdomen, which is why when your pelvic floor is well engaged, pelvic floor is the whole sling right the way up to your navel. When it's engaged, whether you're male or female, you can feel your lower abdomen engage. Right, next time your chin is over to the left, just come back to neutral. And now we're going to take the right shoulder, right ear towards the right shoulder. Do not hunch. Shoulders don't move. Right arm goes up and over just lightly towards the left ear. And you can just allow the weight of your arm to slightly pull your head over. Shoulders stay neutral. So especially as a note to, so obviously if you're working with pelvic floor, you're looking for the central point at your pelvic floor and then scooping in and up and back. And that rule doesn't matter whether you are a vagina haver or not. It's the same internally for everyone, and it's just as important for everyone. People who've had children, I suppose it's more important. Good. When you're ready, we'll bring it back to center. And then switch sides. Exhale over to the other side. So, you know, a lot of people get confused and think that pelvic floor only relates to women. Well, that is deeply untrue, as anyone who's ever had a hernia or slipped a disc learns quite quickly. Pelvic floor wants to be working, and it does relate not just to the muscles at the base, but all the way in and up towards the navel. So right now, sitting here should be feeling like a bit of effort. I'm not tired, but I can feel that thick belt of muscles deep into my waist. I can feel my lower abdomen, my pelvic floor is just warm. It's just a feeling of, yeah, we're having to work to be here. Right, let's bring the neck back to neutral. Hopefully that feels good. If you need to do any more neck exercises, please go ahead. We are going to do a few gentle hands on shoulder rolls. If these are too heavy, just do them loose with your hands on your thighs. Depends on how crunchy your shoulders feel. These will get warmer as we go, so let's not overcook it. Switch directions wherever you are. One, don't let your ribs pull forward. Don't let your chest fall forward. They're just moving the arms in the sockets. And release down to center. Elbows tucked in. Palms are facing forward. You're going to take your right arm out to the side. Don't let your center move. Bring it back to center. And then over to the left. Crown of the head lifted. Don't force this. We're just going to do 6 in total on each side. So this is number 2. This is number 3. Should be able to feel shoulder blade squeeze as you take your hand back. Great exercise for shoulders. These are called dumb waiters. Keep it going. Don't forget to breathe and check that you're still breathing into your ribs. Last one, right and left. Well done. Bring your fingertips together in cathedral fingers, palms separated, elbows relaxed, shoulders relaxed, waist drawn in, breathing wide and deep into your rib cage, pelvic floor lifted, thumb resting on your breastbone, and tallest fingers tilting back and underneath your chin. Exhale, turn from the navel to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, turn to the left. Your shoulders shouldn't move independently of your body, and neither should your head, and neither should your arms. So this rotation lives purely from your navel through your spine. You could sort of imagine that everything is welded in place, except for the spiral from your navel up through your spine to the crown of your head. Shoulders don't move independently. Neck doesn't move. This is why we have the arms in this position. No independent movement apart from this work from your navel. For most people, this rotation is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. What am I talking about? 11, 1, 12 being center, or 10, 2 after a lot of work. It's 10, 2. I mean, I'm just about making it to 10, 2 after quite a long period of being able to mobilize and strengthen into this. When you're ready, finish on your next left, bring it back to center, and we're going to relax. Just do some loose movements with your shoulders. We're going to do seated wipers. You're just going to, if you need to swivel around, swivel around. I'm just facing slightly the wrong direction. You don't need a block for wipers, most people. You're going to take your hands behind you somewhere, pointing in a direction that's comfortable. Walk your feet out reasonably wide, scoop your shoulders back and down, and I want you to be doing a little bit of safe weight bearing through your hands. Roll your knees to the right and check that your left knee is lined up with your right heel, with both knees aiming towards the floor. Back to center, knees to the left, and you should remain in that knee to heel position. Control the movement and slow it down so that your hips are not scooching forwards or backwards. Keep yourself lifted up and out of your shoulders. Chest lifted, shoulders drawing down your back. You want to feel the rotation of the thigh bone in your hip joint, as well as then the rotation of the hip up, over to the side and up. So it's pressing forward. Arms should be feeling like they're doing a little bit of work right now. Just a little bit of work. Finish on your next left. You can always do more of these if you want. Bring it back to center. Heel toe your feet into hip distance apart. A little bit more weight bearing through your hands. So the first level of this movement, depending on what you're able to do, is hands by your hips, right by your hips, down by your side, scoop your shoulders back and down. And the first level of this movement is to just lift your chest, draw your shoulders back and down, put a little bit of pressure through your hands so that your butt feels light, and then relax. And you just keep doing that. Shrug, lift, press a little bit, and relax. It's like a pulse. You can hardly see anything. The next movement is to add tiny slide of your butt forward towards your heels, leaving your shoulders behind, squeezing the shoulder blades together, sliding back in. That's the next level. So you should just follow these with me. You'll know when one is not allowed. This one is a bit more demanding on shoulders. When you're ready, you can take it a little higher. Shoulders back and down, float your butt and hover it. So no sliding, hovering. Bring it back to the start position. Hover, scooch it forward to your heels. Back to the start position. I'm just going to do one more. Rest if you need to rest. I'm just wanting to warm, load the shoulders and the core just a little. And then relax. If you need to shake off your shoulders, your arms, your hands, this is the time to do it. We're going to take seated pigeon. So if you need to put padding under hips or anything, go ahead. But I want to build this so that you can move towards a comfortable seated mermaid. I've swiveled around. You don't need to. You're just going to take your right leg out to the side and your left leg forward a little bit. Bring your hands forward in front of you and just hinge, right? So you can adjust the position of your right leg for comfort. Be where you get a bit of a stretch, but no pain, right? So I know this is not always comfortable for everyone. If it is a movement that you're like, what are you talking about? I'm finding this absolutely comfy. That's okay. What we want is to find a variation of this where there's a decent bit of stretch for your front leg and a decent bit of something in your right leg, no pain, right? So this is seated pigeon. And we're just going to keep the spine nice and long. Waist is still in, pelvic floor is still up, shoulders are still relaxed. Doing very nicely here. So from here, we're not doing the other side just yet. We're going to come into a little kneeling side plank. So side plank is going to take us onto our left side. Left hand stays on the floor, and just swivel yourself around so that both of your knees are bent and stacked. We're coming to forearm here. So if you're not doing this today, well, actually, I'll tell you what, you can do this today. It doesn't matter who you are, anyone can do this. First thing is that we just want to load the shoulder. It's early on. So you're going to lie on your side. You can have your knees very far forward if you need to keep it light, or to intensify, you bring your knees in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked, not tipping forward or back, knees are stacked. From here, I've got my elbow under my shoulder. I am going to literally do one thing only. Keep my top arm resting on my thigh. I'm just going to exhale, not lift my hips, but squeeze my waist up. This might be enough. The next stage is to float the hips up. Make sure your shoulder stays over your elbow. The next stage is to lift the arm. I'm going to hold this for 10, 9, doesn't matter where you are, 8, 7, 6, 5, extend your top arm, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lower it back down. It's pretty hard work, right? So from here, we're going to swivel back around, pigeon on the other side. So a side plank is never easy. In fact, I'm going to swivel this around the other way because otherwise I'll be facing the wrong direction. Side planks are never easy. Doesn't matter which variation you do. Hopefully you're able to find a version of that that gave you sufficient heat for your side this early on, but also a little bit of warmth for your shoulder. I do side planks a lot, you can imagine. Even, you know, you don't need to be fully lifted in a big fancy side plank for that to work. My shoulder has worked, my waist has worked, my hip has worked. It doesn't really require a huge movement. If you use the muscles, they will work. So for me, that fully did the trick. I feel warm in my waist, not so warm that it was a torment, but warm enough. So just hanging out here in my version of seated pigeon, getting the stretch into my right leg, left leg stretching back. Is this the side I've already done? I don't think so. No, it's not. I always have to question. I get a bit confused if I change directions. Good. Hopefully this is feeling all right. When you're ready, pick it back up. Same thing other side. A little bit of a side plank. I'll go through it again. Knees stacked. They can be forward if you're lightening the load on your shoulders. Left, right elbow is underneath your right shoulder. Your knees stacked. Hips are stacked. Not dropping back, not pulling forward. Gaze forward because the hips tend to collapse if you gaze down or up. Shoulders are stacked. And if you want it to be harder, you bring your knees into a line with your hips and your shoulders, and you have to squeeze your butt to keep them there, or you can stay forward. Right. Get that alignment just right. Adjust your arm if you need to once you're up there. Before you do anything else, lift your shoulder, lift yourself away from the floor, keep your hip on the floor, squeeze your waist and lighten the weight on your hip. That might be enough. Otherwise, lift the hip, squeeze your bum and hold it. Otherwise, left arm up and hold it as well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, extend, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Let it go. Nice work. We're coming to all fours. Swivel yourself around so you come into tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Long neutral spine, waist drawn in, pelvic floor lightly lifted, shoulders relaxed. We're going to go for a few rounds of cats and cows to stretch out the work that we've done so far. When you're ready, inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Keep your waist hugged, but don't tense up. Exhale, ripple through your spine, scoop your belly, ribs, and pelvic floor up. Spread the shoulder blades. Keep it going. Cat-cow isn't a passive exercise at its best. You are engaging and releasing levels of core control as you move through the exercise so that you can find the fullest extent of your back flexibility and the fullest extent of your core compression and core engagement. You're also warming through your wrists here. So if you find that your wrists are really achy, make sure that your shoulders are not loaded over your wrists. They want to be slightly forward of your wrists. You can also pause and do some wrist warm-ups, some wrist rolls, some wrist stretches. I'll put the link to the wrist warm-up work in the description. You can pause and go and do that, or you can freestyle and do the ones you like. All right, one more. We're going to stay here on all fours. So if you need to take a break, take one now. Any kind of break you need. A wrist warm-up break is always permitted at any time. From here, our next move is going to be floating tabletop. So exhale, tuck your toes, float your knees just an inch off the floor, lift from your shoulders and your belly. If it's too much, don't do it. Exhale, float an inch and release. It's enough to just try and push away from the floor. You don't even have to lift the heart. The lower your knees are, the harder this is. Last one. Good. One more exercise here. If it's too much, you can stop, you can rest. Shrugs. Shoulders back and down, gazing down at an apex point between your two hands. So just slightly ahead of your hands, but centered. You're going to keep your core very lightly drawn in so your spine doesn't move. And you're just going to lower your chest between your arms and then squeeze up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lower your chest. Press and spread your shoulder blades. Again, if this is causing pain, then don't do it. Or maybe just do teeny tiny ones, just light ones. Two more, 5 in total. Light hug in your waist. My arms know what they're doing. They feel like they're worked. That'll do. Well done. From here, come back to neutral. And where are we going? I'm just checking my notes, which are just behind you, but not literally. We're going to come to front lying. So next step, lying down on your front. I highly recommend sticking a book under your forehead so your face is not smooshed into the floor. Swan dive, levels 1 to 3. We're just doing arms. Okay, so relax your lower body. I'm going to ask you to let your butt relax, let your heels drop out, and just from here, lightly draw up through your pelvic floor and draw in around your waist as we have done all the way through, at which point your legs will want to tense up and your butt will want to squeeze, but they don't need to because your butt muscles are not connected to your pelvic floor and neither are your waist muscles. Neither are your leg muscles. So the legs can stay relaxed. You're just hugging the inside of your waist and the inside of your pelvic floor. And you will feel a little tilt in your hips, probably. So it's like you're trying to slightly pull your belly up off the floor. Arms are going to be here in cactus position. You are going to shrug your shoulders back and down and then pull the shoulder blades together so the arms feel light or slightly hover. And then release. Shrug. And then use the muscles in your shoulders to try and pick up your arms and release. 3 more like that. Exhale, shrug, pull, and release. Shrug, squeeze, and release. Hot tip, if you find this too easy, you're probably not using the muscles. It's the muscles in the shoulders trying to lift heavy arms whilst keeping your core slightly engaged. Last one. Well done. Arms stay down. Relax them heavily into the floor. Keep your legs relaxed. Low back does nothing here. This is where the danger of using your low back turns up. Keep your waist in, lengthen the crown of your head forward, and start to peel your chest forward and up off the floor. Feel the extension through your chest. It's a tiny movement. Think of it as pulling forward between your collarbones. You might feel a little bit of something around your armpit. You might find it easier to do this with your head on the floor. You can press your arms down a little if you need to, but this is just upper body. There should be no noisiness, no crinkling, no tension in your lower back. All upper back extension. Feel your spine, upper back spine, pressing forwards and slightly up between your shoulder blades. That's where the movement is. And one more. This time, hold it. See if you can keep your shoulders back, gazing at the floor. This I can feel, it's really strong in my armpit area. And I'm just going to lift my arms up from here and hover them. I am not dropping my belly into the floor. I'm not lifting from my lower back. The movement is very small. My legs are totally relaxed. My pelvic floor is working. Waist is working. And everything is feeling quite When you're ready, lower your arms down. Lower your forehead down. Lengthen out your legs. Bring your heels back to neutral. Walk your hands in. We're coming to Sphinx. This is quite demanding on shoulders to do well. So we're going to roll between Sphinx and forearm plank. If this is enough, then we're going to stay here. So levels, right? Pelvic floor in, belly drawn lightly in. Legs are going to be active when it comes to it. Elbows are under your shoulders, widthways, forward, laterally and linearly. So the elbows are right underneath the shoulder blades, widthwise and forwards-wise. Shoulders are drawing back and down to start. The first version of this movement to protect achy shoulders is to shrug. Shoulder blades together, shoulder blades separate and your chest squeezes up between them. Shoulder blades squeeze together, shoulder blades separate and your chest squeezes between them. So when I say your chest squeezes between them, you're pulling your chest muscles in, your pecs are scooping. The next variation is to carry on that movement, gazing down between your arms and continue to compress to a kneeling plank. So some people prefer to tuck their toes for this, but follow along slowly with me if you're going to try it. Scoop your chest up between your shoulder blades, pushing your elbows into the floor. Gaze down between your arms and start to tuck your ribs in. Start to squeeze your ribs, your belly up between your hips. Scoop your hips in and tense your butt. So you're in this kneeling plank. It's really hard. And then slowly release those muscles in control until you're back to the start position. Let's do 2 more of those. You get to choose which variation you do and when you get to rest. So gaze down between your hands. Exhale as you scoop your chest in. Scoop your ribs in, glue them to your back, tuck your belly in, tilt and squeeze your butt. And then if you can try one or both legs. And then lower slowly, releasing only as you get to the muscle you're releasing. Jesus, such hard work. Okay, one more time, your variation. Chin to chest, scoop, chest, ribs, belly, hips, butt, pelvic floor, maybe thighs, and then release. Holy shit bags, it's such hard work. Let it go. Last move is single leg kick, which you'd be glad to know you can do with your head on the floor. So you can rest your lower body all the way down to the floor. Take a breather if you need one. Forehead can come back to the block. Arms can rest down wherever they're comfortable. Bring yourself back to your nice light core control. Lengthen your legs away. And from here, you're going to squeeze your butt and kick yourself in the butt, basically. So heel, heel to butt and lengthen. Heel, heel to butt and lengthen. Right leg, pulse, pulse, lengthen. Pulse, pulse, lengthen. The idea here is to keep your leg active as you work. So kick, kick, lengthen. Kick, kick, lengthen. Your belly is not dropping into the floor. Your back is not dropping into the floor. It's just a leg exercise. Waist is drawn in, pelvic floor is lifted. But as you kick yourself or attempt to kick yourself in the butt with your heel, you should feel a squeeze in your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs, and a little activity in your calf. So the leg is not passive, it's quite an active movement. One more on each side. This is level one leg kick. From here, if you'd like to have a go, we can do another one, another set in Sphinx, which will also start to stretch out that plank. So, if you can, shoulders back and down, waist drawn in, pelvic floor lightly up, heel, heel, extend. Heel, heel, extend. It'll be a little stronger in your hamstrings. They might even feel a little bit crampy. So pulse, pulse, extend. Pulse, pulse, extend. From this position, you're shortening your hamstrings, which is why it's a bit more intense. The legs stay active through this. Normally in the Pilates, we're keeping the legs quite heavy, but this is a leg exercise. Last one, right and left. Well done. We're gonna roll over. Where are we going next? Oh, we're going to child's pose. Lucky, lucky. Hands back. Scoop it back. Knees wide, toes together. Slide your arms forward. Have a big old stretch. Lengthen it out. Hips drawing back towards the heels. Crown of the head lengthening forward. Child's pose, setting us up for the next set of work, which will be standing work. From here, we're going to take a side bend. Walk your hands over to the right. Left hand can weave over the top if you want. Left hip draws back. It actually doesn't matter how far over you go. That would have gone too far. You just want to feel length down the left side of your body. And given that we worked pretty damn hard, you are going to really feel this stretch. If this is not a good stretch for you, you could do a seated version with your arms up and just pull your left arm over to the right. Doesn't matter. We're looking for a little bit of a hip stretch and a little bit of arm stretch. Doesn't matter where you get it or how, whatever suits you. Let's go over to the other side again. I've walked too far. Just pull the right hip back, arms over to the left. I've got my right hand threaded between my left fingers and I'm pulling back. So my right hip stays back where it belongs. That feels really good. Breathe. Fantastic. I'm going to walk this in back to center. Okay, we're making our way to the standing flow. So walk your hands in, bring your knees to neutral, tuck your toes, roll back into a little crouch at the back of your mat. Start to lift your lift your hips as you lower your heels and come to a standing forward fold. You can have soft knees, but just stretch out the backs of your legs. It should feel quite nice to stretch your legs after one leg kick, which is surprisingly intense when you do it well. Spine is going to be a little bit lengthened into a halfway lift. So hands to shins, lengthen out your spine, draw your shoulders back towards your hips, softness in your knees, and let's come all the way up, reaching the arms up and overhead, if your shoulders will let you. Exhale, bring your arms down. Set yourself up, standing setup. Waist in, pelvic floor lifted, so your tailbone tips down, feet are under your hips, weight evenly placed, shoulders relaxing back and down, heel raises to start. We're just going to do 5. So float yourself up, find your gazing point, and lower down. So do what's right for your arms. I'm going to take the full raise of the arms because I don't do it very often, but you can go halfway up and forward if that's better for you. That's 2. If you take your arms all the way up, make sure your ribs don't pull up. Keep them hugged. Everything neutral. Last heel raise. Pick it up. We're moving into staff pose. We're going to do 2 on each side just to set up. Right leg stays down, left arm comes up, arms come forward and lower down. Raise and lower. This should feel like a piece of cake compared to what we've done so far. Raise and lower. Raise, well done. And lower, keep your arms where they are, lower your leg. 2 rounds of arches on each side. Keep your waist in. Exhale, rotate, draw your elbow back and turn the chest. Hips stay forward, back to center. This should feel okay. We're just going to go from side to side for 2 on each side. These should feel okay after the twist we did at the beginning. What I'd like you to do is add on staff pose in a moment. So I'm just going to take my left arm back, bring it back to center, and now we're going to raise the right leg and take the right arm back. Gaze can stay forward, but the chest turns back to center. Second side, left arm, left leg. And center. Keep it going. I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to do 4 on each. Keep it moving. If it's too much, then raise, then twist, then untwist, then lower. If you can do them both at the same time, you do deserve to be snug. So see how you feel. Do what you can do well. No point staggering around, giving yourself a concussion, falling into furniture. 1 more on each side for me. If you're done, you're done. Check that your waist is still in, shoulders are still relaxed, pelvic floor lifted. If you're managing to do this, probably all of that is working. Back to center. Well done. Relax your arms down. Give them a few circles. Well done. Circle them back the other way if you need to. I'm going to step wide for sumo squats. So we're going to go just simple sumo squats with arms. Step your legs out wide, toes out wide. Take your arms up if you can. If not, then leave the arms or keep them a little bit hugged in front of you. Otherwise, 5-pointed start, arms raised. Exhale, sit down into a deep sumo squat. Look at my feet. They're beyond my knees. They're not tucked in. Your knees want to be over your ankles or behind them. Circle up, sink down. Drive the knees out so you can feel your feet pressing evenly into the floor. Feel the inner thighs work. Good. 1 more. Sink it down, hold it. Now, pulse down, pulse down, pulse down, pulse down. Don't let your knees drop in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen. Cossack side sweep. Bend into your right knee. Take your right arm across you if you can, or just keep it on your hip if you can't. And then other side. Now we're doing a lot of arm work. Just leave the arms out, but do take the bend, right? So if you're leaving the arms out, do take your upper body away from the leg that you're bending into. There should be no pain in your knees with these movements. How low you go is massively down to your body. This is the half Cossack side sweep. We do it a lot. And if your arms are feeling great, extend and reach. Extend and reach. 1 more. Finish on the left. Bring it back to center. Ooh, you should know about your legs. Swivel your feet to the right. Right? So if you swivel your feet to the right, legs are straight, hands on your hips, rearrange if you need to. We're going to bend into the right knee. So the knee is over the ankle, and take a little bend of the back knee for a lunge dip. Doesn't matter how far you go. Lift back up to straight legs, step forward. Step your right leg back, straight legs, bend into the left knee, a little lunge dip. Doesn't matter how far you go. Step and dip. Step and dip. Keep your shoulders over your hips at all time. Waist is in, pelvic floor is up. There's no leaning forward. There's no leaning back or hunching. It's a balance exercise. It's also a massive glute and leg exercise. And we're just wanting to control it. Last one. Left leg back, right leg forward, and step. Hold on. Step those back to center. It's hard work, right? Have a little swing out, nice and loose. Well done. It's no joke, that stuff. Lovely. Heel toe yourself back to center. Come to the back of the mat. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, fold from the hips, bend at the knees, hands towards the floor. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, slide your arms forward and sit your hips back for a little squat here. Body weight squat. From here, just let your arms swing. Swing, swing, swing. Keep everything else grounded. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And fold down over your thighs. Walk yourself forward to all fours. From here, we're just going to swivel around and do a little seated and then a little reclining, and we're done. So swivel your legs around or cross them over, so your hips over behind them. Feet come forward. Boat pose, a little bit of hip flexor work. Your feet are just resting, hip distance apart. Don't let your knees drop in or out. We're going to move into seated boat with leg lifts. This is quick work, but it's intense. And then we're going to do a hold if possible. And then we're going to do a couple of side bends and then lie down. So bring your arms forward, tuck your ribs in, scoop your pelvic floor up firmly. We're not rounding, right? So this is plank-based work. Arms float forward, sit back a little way, just till it's effort. You can stay totally upright if you want. Hold that tension in your abs. Right thigh is coming up towards your chest. Lower it down. Left thigh, lower it down. You should immediately feel how your back wants to let go, how your belly wants to let go, and your thighs and hip flexors, fronts of your hips, should start to burn. If it's not hard enough, you can sit back further, but there's a strong possibility you're doing the work with your back if it's not hard enough. Shoulders stay relaxed. Right and left. If you need a breather, take a breather first, but we're going to hold. Right leg up, left leg up, squeeze. Thighs squeezing towards your belly, chest squeezing towards your thighs. Hips are burning like nobody's business. Abs are working really hard. There's nothing in my lower back. Shoulders are relaxed. Good. Right leg down, left leg down. Butterfly pose. Knees wide. Soles of the feet together. You can bring them in or leave them forward. Hold on to your feet or your shins or your thighs and just hinge forward. That's it. It's a short, sharp burst of a really intense work. Remember that little pigeon pose we did earlier? Let's do that again. You're going to take your right leg a little bit out to the side, and you should immediately feel that hip get a nice stretch. Gently walk yourself forward over the left leg if you can. just stretch it here. As I say, start sharp. Sometimes the Pilates exercises just don't require a lot of time. They just sort of punch you, quite literally punch you in the stomach, and you can feel it. And you always know if it's a short exercise, let's switch legs. Chances are, if it's a short exercise, it's a tough one. Left leg out to the side, right leg forward, fold down. Should feel that stretch through the left hip. Good. Let's walk this in. And we're just going to come back to cross legs. Now, if you're able to do mermaid, if those stretches, the aim here is to get to the point doing mermaid. If the stretches we've done so far make it possible for you to sit like this in mermaid pose, then do. If not, come to cross legs and then switch your cross so that it's the uncomfortable side, right? So either mermaid with both legs over to the right, or cross legs with the uncomfortable leg in front of you. If you need to sit on a little cushion, as I have, go ahead. However, if your core is working pretty well, then you don't need to. We're staying in core work, but it's light core work to stretch out your waist. Fingertips down to the floor in line with the hips, and you're going up and over to the side, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips with no hunching forward or backwards. And I am really, as you can see, I'm just coming onto fingertips because I'm aiming not to use my hands, to keep the work in my center and my core around my waist here. So pelvic floor is still working, waist is still working, abs are still working, and I'm taking these side bends. Now, obviously, some side bends are more side bendier than others. Doesn't matter how far you go, you can feel the work, right? It's just as much work. It's just about doing it well. The extension can go upwards or it can go over to the side. It still works. If you've got your feet in mermaid, swivel them over to the other side. If you're in cross legs, switch to the comfortable cross leg position. I'm going to carry on. Fingertips to the floor, extend. So left fingertips down, right arm extends. You can bend the arm if you want to, or extend it just to change the exercise up. Doesn't matter how far you go, but try not to dump all your weight into the fingers that are on the floor. We're not there. This is not the work that we're doing. So I've opted for cross legs, but the aim is to move towards mermaid legs, or in yoga, it's deer pose legs, or in bodyweight training, it's Z pose legs. You call them what you want. 1990 is the other name. Got so many names, but do what you can do. That'll do. Let's bring this back to center, and we're going to swivel around and have a little lie down. So feet to the floor. You're going to roll slowly through your spine to reclining until you end up lying on your back with your feet close to your butt, hip distance apart, knees hip distance apart, arms down by your side, straight into pelvic curls. Exhale to roll your pelvis up. Inhale to bring it down. I'm just going to do 3 of these to make sure that my feet are in the right position. So when I roll up, my knees draw over my toes, and to make sure that I can ground down through my feet. And we're going to roll into glute bridge. So continue the roll, pull your hips up, hug your TVA, your glutes and your thighs, press your feet down, long line from knees to shoulders, and then roll all the way down. We're not going too high, but we're looking to work through each vertebra if we can. Exhaling to roll up, lengthening through the body, squeezing, and then waiting for an exhale to roll down. On the next one, just note what your energy feels like, because we're going to go into single leg glute bridge. You want to feel like you're not too high up. You're just to the tops of your shoulder blades. So your shoulders are still on the floor, butt is squeezed, abs are lightly hugged in, straight line maximum from shoulders to knees. You can be lower for this. And then lower down. Next time, we're going to lift, hold it, and do single leg glute bridge. Roll yourself up. If you're not up for it, don't do it. Carry on with normal glute bridge. This should not hurt your back. Push your right leg down and see if you can bring your left leg into single tabletop without sagging, and then lower it. Squeeze your left foot down, raise your right leg, no sagging. Should we try and do 2 more on each side? Right leg down, left leg lifts. Don't forget to breathe. Left leg down, right leg lifts. Control. 1 more on each side. Well done. Do the best you can with whatever you're doing. And if you're resting, well done you. Both feet down. Wait for an exhale. Roll carefully down through your spine. Short, sharp. Bit of glute work there. Knees to chest. I'm going to roll. We're not done yet. We've got a little bit to go. Doing great. Brilliant. Okay. So we're going to move into single leg stretch. Very, very familiar to you, but we are going straight into level 3. So if you know that you are feeling tired, the work's going into your back, and you're feeling out of control of the movements, then you're going to dial it back to level 1 or 2. Let's just start with the setup, and then I'll remind you of level 1 and 2. Feet and knees are hip distance apart. Feet are a little bit further away from your body than glute bridge. There's a small gap under your lower back. Waist is drawn in. Pelvic floor is lifted a little bit. Hips are evenly placed on the floor. Shoulders are relaxed. Arms are down by your sides. You're breathing into your ribs. None of this happens in your back. As you move your leg, your hips stay still. Your belly stays still. Your back doesn't move, and neither does the grounded leg. So let's bring the right leg up into single tabletop. Variation 1 of this movement is to lift and lower the leg in a bent knee position. Level 2 is to lengthen the leg till it's straight, about a foot off the floor, and then bring it back in. Level 3, which we're about to do, is to start here in single tabletop, and then without moving the knee, just extend the leg. It doesn't matter whether it's straight. And then we're going to lower 5 times with a straight leg. Put the exhale wherever the work is hardest. This exercise, to control it, feels quite different than the other 2. So if you're taking your leg too far forward, your hips will tilt. If you're not able to control it, your back will arch and your other leg will move. So dial it back if you need to. We're going to do 2 more and then switch legs. Now, I can do these quite quickly because I'm very warm. If you need more time, take more time. Otherwise, bend your leg, lower the right leg down, squeeze and lift the second leg. You decide. Bent leg, level 1, bent and extended, level 2, or fully extend the leg. Make sure that your hips haven't moved. You can have your hands on your thighs if you need to, and then extend the leg forward till it's about 6 or 8 inches off the floor. And then lift. The leg is relaxed. It's a dead weight. You're just working to stabilize your body as you wave this really heavy leg around. 1 more like this. Do more if you need to. Bring it back in. And now we're going to bring this leg to single tabletop. So the left leg is going to bend. You know where we're going? Double tabletop. So we're going to imprint. With the left leg in its bent knee, single tabletop position, squeeze your ribs and hips together so you can feel your lower back imprint into the floor. And then hold that imprint, lift the right leg. Hold it, until it's too heavy. So you are going to breathe, shoulders stay relaxed, breathing into your chest and your ribs. Ribs and hips are tight. Lower back is imprinted into the ground. There's no work happening in the lower back. It's all core. Carry on breathing. Now, listen, if you do this well, it's really hard. You can hold it, but it's really hard. You don't need to be here forever. When you're ready, lower one leg down, then the other, then relax and stretch your whole body out. Big old stretch. 2 more exercises and then we can rest. Actually, we've got 3 more exercises. So if you need to break this up a bit more, feel free. If you're done, you're done. Next exercise, we're just going to do level 1, and it's called level 1 single legs. That's not right. I can't remember what this is called. Doesn't matter. Okay, double leg circle is called. Right. Normally we do the upper body version. We're going to do the lower body version of this. Arms are down by your sides. We're coming back to double tabletop. So pick up your right leg into the bent knee position, single tabletop. Imprint, tuck your ribs and hips together. Lower back presses down a little bit more firmly into the floor. Squeeze out and hold it as you lift the left leg. If that didn't work and you immediately arched your back, it means that you're not doing this. You're too tired. From here, you're just going to start drawing little circles with your knees. So you can imagine there's like some paintbrushes or pencils attached to your knees, and you're making circles on the ceiling. The circles want to be moving away from you, out to the sides and back towards you. My circles are about the size of soccer balls, footballs. For some people, these circles will be tiny, 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 tiny. Let's switch directions. Your low back should still be imprinted into the floor. Yes, there'll be some movement around your hips, but you want to feel this in your lower abdomen and your 6-pack, but mostly it's around the lower abdomen area because you are really, really loading up with the backs of your hips. So your lower abdomen has to be controlled. Finish off that circle. Lower one leg down, lower the other leg down. Don't stretch yet. Hands behind your ears for some curl-ups. Take a deep breath in. Again, imprint. Hips, ribs and hips are squeezed together. Exhale, chin to chest. Raise from your abs and then lower back down. Exhale. It's only the shoulder blades that come up for a curl up. The compression is all in your rectus abdominis, the 6-pack area you're squeezing. One more. Well done. Relax your head down. Take a full body stretch. One last move. It is a stronger move, and we've been building up towards it, and that is scissors. If you're done, you're done, right? You can move on to the mobilization if you're done. This is the last little push for core work. When you're ready, arms down by your sides. We're keeping the upper body down. In time, we're going to move this towards holding the curl up while you do your scissors exercise. Back to double tabletop or single tabletop, and you alternate that way. So you get to choose. Let's start with a single tabletop variation. Pick up your right leg into single tabletop, relax through your core, you lower it down, and then you pick up the left leg. So you're just moving from side to side. If that works for you, because sometimes this is all you need, your job is to keep your hips even, your waist drawn in, and that little gap under your lower back. And if you can do that with this exercise, then you are nailing core stabilization. It's good enough. If you want this to be a little tougher, as in less to do with stability and more to do with ab work, top layer, you still need to stabilize, imprint, as we have for the last couple of double tabletop exercises, and raise your second leg. Exhale, tap your right leg, bring it back in. Left leg, bring it back in. Right leg, bring it back in. At no point should your back be lifting and lowering. Your hips should be evenly placed and your core is tight. There's no effort in your legs, very minimal effort, and very minimal effort in your back. It's core work. That's one to the left. And then lower your right leg down, and then your left leg. Stretch it out. Well done. Scissors is if you're not ready for it, it's a bad idea. So I know we've done it before, so hopefully you should be right there with it. Feeling the work, feeling the core connection. We are done for the main bit. We are now going to move into some stretches. So let's start with side lying favorites. Chalk circles and opening windows. So grab your cushion. You want your head resting on the front of the cushion, lying on your side with your arms forward, sandwiched together. This is to stretch out your upper back and chest and waist. So don't let your knees move. Keep them stacked. When you're ready, take your top arm up and back, rotating from your waist. Don't force your shoulder to the floor. Just work with your breath. Inhaling for half the movement, exhaling for the other half. Try not to let your hips and knees move because that just takes you away from the strength work, right? So this is, as you know, very, very, I mean, we did a lot of strong leg work earlier on, but not as much of it. Very, very strong core-oriented session. We've added on and moved forward with a lot of these exercises. Much more demanding work. You want to do it well, which means you need to stretch it well. Okay, let's make these into chalk circles. If possible, you can stay with opening windows if you prefer. Otherwise, take your top arm up and over for half a circle, and then exhale to close that circle. Thoracic, side lying thoracic rotations, or chalk circles, they call it in Pilates. Bodyweight training, side lying thoracic rotations. I like both names. The engineer in me really prefers a descriptive name of the this is what this movement consists of kind of thing, you know, each to their own. Fantastic. One more. Lovely. Let's bring it back to center. We're rotating onto your back. We're staying on our back for a moment. I'm going to take reclining pigeon, any version of reclining pigeon and the twist. I'm going to go for a full cross leg, right leg over left. I'm going to take my left hand to the outside of that right leg and draw both sets of legs over to the left. So I'm getting a big old stretch into my right hip. You can do any version of pigeon you want. You might not get much because we've done a fair bit of pigeon in the session today as we've worked into hip joints. If any of those pigeons or 90-90 or wipers movements work for you, the cross legs, then you may not need a ton of stretch here. Just be here for about 30 seconds and then we can switch sides. Of course, if I'd organized this better, we'd be rolling onto the left side here. Well, I have, but I don't want to turn my back to you. So for you, if you're in the pigeon stretch, unless you want longer, you can just unravel your legs, restack your knees, and roll your right arm up and over. For me, I'm going to switch sides because I would really rather be facing the screen and have my ass to the screen. So yeah, extend, bend your knees, feet and knees together, head to the edge of your block, palms forward, opening windows, keep those knees stacked, hips stacked. The movement is for your upper body, this one. Twist is for your lower body. Nearly there. I'm running long, but it's worth it for the stretch. And also, of course, it's a very busy plan. So now I know when I come to do it live, some of these bits will have to be clipped. And to be fair, in person, we rarely ever get through this much work because each exercise informs the next one. So you get a sense of how much to do, how much fatigue, what's working, what isn't working. And at any given time for most human beings, some things work better than others. So yeah. Good. Let's have one more of these and then over to chalk. Circles. Again, if your shoulders have had it, then make everything very gentle and do what you can. Otherwise, side lying thoracic rotation. It is, I do prefer that name. It's a mouthful, but I do prefer it. Thoracic being upper back, side lying is where we are, rotation is what you're doing when you circle your arm around. Chalk circles, the idea being that if you had a piece of chalk in your hand, you would be drawing a big chalk circle around yourself with that hand. Also really beautifully descriptive. I do like that description because it speaks to the larger range of motion, but you know, everything has its place. Good. Finish those off. Do as many as you want to. Bring it onto your back. You can keep your head on your block if you want to. And we're going into the twist again. So left thigh over right, or whichever version of pigeon twist you like. And then make sure you do your second side, that's all. And I'm taking my hand to the outside of my left thigh and drawing my legs over. I use my hand because it gives me a little bit more weight to pull my leg down, but you don't have to. Head can turn away, pretty much done. As you're lying here, just assess, is there anything else that I need beyond a full body stretch and a banana stretch? That's all we've got left. There were other things we could have done here in this mobilization section, but because we're running long and eventually you get to the point where you're done enough. So we don't need to go any further, I don't think, today. Nice. It's a nice balanced session that you can't have lots and lots of effort on everything. You need to leave a little bit of energy. We worked into hips. The hips weren't loaded enormously, but they were loaded enough. It was a very, very central core oriented work. Lovely. When you're ready, you can bring this back in. Keep your legs crossed and just slide them away. And you'll have your left leg over your right. You can take your left arm in your right hand. And if you want a banana stretch, just wiggle your upper body over to the right. I prefer to keep these long. There is no benefit to squashing up any side of your body in a side bend. Left side is really extended from the ankle up to the shoulder, maybe even up to the wrist. But the right side is not squashed up at all. It's also quite lengthened for a banana. Wiggle yourself back to center, switch sides. Right ankle over left. Just going to take my upper body across and then maybe a little wobble of the lower body across. Maybe just turn the toes over to the left and really get a nice bit of stretch down the right side of the body. Absolutely no compression on the left side. When I say the left side is long, I'm not saying obviously it's shorter than it would be if we were neutral, but it's just not squashed, that's all. Sometimes people do really, really rounded shapes for this. That's not what we want. Fantastic. Bring it back in. One last stretch and swivel yourself around. You're all done. I hope that felt good. Check in. Give yourself any other stretches that you need. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, week, month, whatever it is you're up to. And I'll see you soon.